The following program is the work of broadcast students from the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT Magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland over the past week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their BCIT instructors.
Coming up on BCIT Magazine, police are working to find the story behind threatening graffiti at a local school.
And there are surveillance cameras in buildings and on the streets, and now in buses.
And a local group wants a ban on oil tankers in BC waters.
Hello and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Kristen Woodhouse.
And I'm Gareth Maddock-Jones. Disturbing graffiti written on walls of West Vancouver was found and has raised concerns over student safety. Police were there looking for anything suspicious, and I filed this report. West Vancouver Secondary had the attention of police as threatening graffiti was found on one of the school's walls. Police don't have a suspect yet, but say rumors of 12 names being targeted as victims of this message are false.
It was a general threat, it was not specific. There's been lots of rumor and innuendo that there are names attached to this threat. That is absolutely not the case.
The police say while the school received heightened attention today, their focus on the school's safety will continue.
Anyone that comes, works, plays in West Vancouver deserves and will get the protection of this police department. And this is what we do today, this is what we do tomorrow, and we'll do the next day as well.
While West Vancouver police say they're doing everything they can to look out for the safety of the students, we caught up with one parent who decided to keep her child home from school today.
Well, my daughter stayed home from school today, so we're just here to pick up her homework. The school told us that there would be a heavy police presence here today, and that they had a person in custody. And I was worried about my daughter's safety and the safety of the other students.
The West Vancouver police will continue their investigation as they currently have no one in custody, no suspects, and no charges have been laid. Gareth Maddock-Jones in West Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Translink is making changes to their buses, and as Carly McLennan discovered, they're for your protection.
The next time you're on a bus and you feel like you're being watched, well, you probably are. All buses newer than 2006 will soon have multiple security cameras in place. Translink decided to go ahead and install the cameras after a successful pilot project launched 1 year ago.
What we found is that the number of assaults on bus drivers has been cut in half, and by comparison, the buses that haven't had the cameras installed, it's about the same.
In the years leading up to the pilot project, there was an increase in driver assaults. One incident in Coquitlam was near fatal.
Where one of our drivers was attacked and hauled out of his seat and beaten senseless. I don't even know if he's going to be driving again. And it was while the bus was in operation. And one of the things that really frosted our people at Coast Mountain Bus Company was that the accused wound up getting a reduced sentence because they couldn't prove it was he. And it was at that point that people said, you know, we need to have video surveillance on here like they do on SkyTrain.
But not everyone feels the same way.
I think it'd be better if it was installed in SkyTrains, but buses, I think it's less of a problem.
I'm fine with that. To me, it feels as though it's a very secure thing to have.
I think that'd be a great change for our city. It'd be a really good thing.
Why do you feel that way?
Because it'd be more safe, and I'd feel more safer being on the bus.
The security cameras capture footage and hold the video for 1 week to be used by police or courts if need be. But they also have another use.
We found the cameras have been able to act both as a deterrent and also to help in the investigation of some crimes and settle some claims that people might have. Onboard accidents, traffic accidents, those do happen.
In one case, the cameras have led to identification of a suspect and subsequent arrest in a case of robbery.
Some young people had robbed a jewelry store, I believe it was in Oak Ridge, and they got on board one of the buses. The cameras picked them up actually dividing the lolly in the back seat.
If the security cameras do not continue decreasing driver assaults, Translink has discussed installing shields between the driver and passengers, but they hope they won't be needed. Carly McLennan in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
And we now go live to Carly McLennan. Carly, more about these security cameras?
A pilot project was launched 1 year ago installing cameras on trolley buses. The results of this project, Translink reported a 50% decrease in assaults. All buses 2006 and newer will have cameras installed in them. Drew Snyder, public safety official for Translink, says the cameras will act as a deterrent but will also provide information to police and courts once a crime has been committed. Kristen?
Protesters at Stanley Park expressed their environmental concerns with oil tankers in BC waters. Gareth Maddock-Jones has the story.
Problem. No tankers, no pipelines, no problem.
Protesters could be heard loud and clear at Second Beach in Stanley Park. They were speaking out against oil tankers traveling through BC coastal waters.
People all over the country care about the BC coast. This is part of our national identity, and it's a piece that we just can't risk losing.
If there's an oil spill in this water, it'll destroy every fishery we have.
People walking the seawall didn't seem to like the idea of oil tankers either.
This is a very beautiful area and we don't want any disasters.
An oil tanker just happens to break down. We're not going to be able to swim for years here.
There's got to be some change. There's got to be water for my grandchildren.
After the rally at Second Beach, protest organizers met with politicians aboard a ship to give them a banner to send to Ottawa.
We handed it off to Nathan Cullen and to Adrian Carr. They're going to take it back to Ottawa for us. We're going to make sure that our federal government gets the message.
While groups such as Greenpeace and No Tanks are opposed to oil tankers sailing through our waters, Port Metro Vancouver, who oversees Vancouver Harbour, says they exceed international regulations to minimize the risk of an oil spill.
We've put in place also a new way to escort tankers through the second narrows, to basically being able to move a tanker without engine and rudder safely to wherever she has to be.
Despite the number of safety precautions taken to prevent an oil spill, it's now up to the federal government to look into the concerns raised by today's protesters. Gareth Maddock-Jones in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine. In Canada, there are currently 21 female CEOs, but a conference this week has the hopes of seeing that number rise. Men and women were at the Four Seasons Hotel this week to take part in the Women in Leadership Forum, a conference to address strategies for female success in the business. The day included a series of workshops led by successful women in the business sector.
Forget China, India, and the internet. Economic growth is driven by women.
Last year, the event was called Women on Board, but this year the name was changed to highlight a focus on female leadership in the workplace. Coming up after the break, Simon Fraser University students may soon have a new way of getting up Burnaby Mountain.
And find out why residents in Richmond are upset about a bed and breakfast bylaw.